Okay. So before, in the previous test, this one was 4 squares, and this one was 5. It was a what is a pentagon? Now this is 4 square and 4 square. Um, Not 4 square, but 4 sides and 4 side. So they're squares. So now my Alzheimer's is progressing. So my kids left. I put music and I left it running. I spilled my cup. Um, I probably wanted to bring them to the sink. It's still the same day. I probably wanted to bring them to the sink, and I brought them to the kitchen bathroom sink instead. Can I pick up these cups? Because that's bothering me. Peter, Elizabeth. So this is me time traveling to when my kids were kids. Peter in Vietnam. Um, I can't check that one. Mm, I like this one. This should be Peter. Okay. I don't want to put that. I don't want to go to bed. Max doesn't have his clothes anymore. Make coffee. Noah visit at 1 p.m. So I'm going to take care of Noah. While Peter and Elizabeth. This is not good. My medications haven't been refilled. And I skipped a day. Let me do my coffee. Is that the owl? Okay, that's not my owl. There we go. That's a really nice painting. I need my coffee cup. Oh, he scared me. Okay. I don't want to sit down yet. My coffee cup. So if Noah's here at 1, if Noah's here, it's already 1 o'clock. He's been here for a while because he's having a conversation with me. Christopher's watch. It stopped. Okay, so I guess I'm not mispronouncing. Okay, yeah, it is with an F. I know it's been too long since I reached out, and I'm sure you're crossed about that. I needed to think about your last letter for a bit. I know this is hard to hear, but I'm not ready to come home. I will soon, but I need a little more time. A lot has changed for me while traveling these last 2 months. I feel awake. Coming home feels like going backwards. I have a lot to say, but I think it's best for both of us if it is said in person. I'm not sure where I'm staying in Tunis yet, but I'll find a hotel with a phone. I'll call you when I have a plan. So I really want Christopher to come help me, and he's not. I like this one. So this is your brother Christopher. I like him. He looks friendly. Don't let him know. Oh yes, he was. But where did you find this album, Noah? Oh, it's okay, Grandma. We wrote down what we were doing today in case you forgot. See? You wanted me to help choose photos for that thing you're making. Dad will take me home later. So what was Christopher like? Was he nice? Oh. You see, I want to say mostly because he was nice, but he didn't help me. And I know I'm probably resentful of that. But I don't want to say always. He could be a little boneheaded, honestly, selfish sometimes, especially with our father. Neither of them were good to each other, and I'd get caught in the middle. One Christmas, they got into a big fight, and Christopher ran away from home. He kept talking about this old house down the road. He wanted to see inside, but Dad forbade it, said it was abandoned. When Christopher ran off, I just knew he'd end up there, so I followed him. To protect him, to be like him. Oh. Maybe I did want to be like him. I wanted to be like him, I guess. He had a way of making you feel special. He had a big imagination. Always was always reading fantasy novels. He'd found feathers in the snow outside the house and said an eagle was stuck in there. Got himself through a window but fell right on his back. Rattled the whole house and what, Grandma? What was in the house? His angel, a heart lesson. Let's see his angel. The house was in the house. Okay. The house. He was. I. I wish you knew. Um. Grandma. Dad says when people get old they forget things, but he also says you're sick. What if we write down more like the story? Then maybe you won't forget so much. He's right. These things just happen, honey. But are you losing all your memories? What if you forget the story or that I was here? Well, the truth is, it's scary for me too. I might forget those things, but forgetting so much has taught me something about memory. I always know how I feel, even when I forget what made me feel one way or another. And that kind of brings to the quote: "People don't remember. People may not remember what you say, but they remember how you made them feel." Some feelings are so important; they last longer than memories. Every day with you feels like that. Wait, what was that, Grandma? You feel something? Some my I feel happy here now. Okay. Okay. Well, let me finish this conversation and I might elaborate on this. Happy with you as long as you're here.
Mm.
As long as you're here, that's the name of the game. Yes, thanks, Grandma. Me too. Today's been fun. Hmm. Maybe we can do something else together? We still have time before Dad comes back. I brought a puzzle with me. Don't think it'll be too hard. Want to try? Noah's. That looks like it would have been a hard puzzle. So I'm guessing Noah left. That's the watch for my brother. Oh, this is Noah. I'm guessing that's the pizza. For Grandma's tree. I don't know, they're both really nice pictures. I really wouldn't want to cut them. I don't know. I think this is a really nice family photo. Or like picture of Noah. But I also really like his smile here. I'll do this one. Finish. I need to put my feelings somewhere, Eric. I need to put my feelings somewhere. Eric encouraged me to try this, but I don't know where to start. I used to journal when I was younger. I remember Christopher stole an old journal of mine once. He always knew how to get a rise out of me when he wanted my attention. They found his body 2 days ago. He was pulled out of a wreckage of a bus on bus collision in Tunisia, and he and 17 others gone. I've read and reread the letter from the consulate. They say they're in touch with the Danish government and are sending home his remains. How do I tell Peter and Elizabeth what I barely understand myself? The kids know lots of stories of their Uncle Christopher. Elizabeth asked about that owl statue he sent me. It was a story. It has a story behind it too. A little joke Christopher knew only I would get. I would write some of these stories down. When people die, they become stories. I should write some of these stories down. There's an angel stuck in that house, he told me. It's abandoned, but I swear I saw a light. He pulled up the chain link fence so I could crawl under. So I'm missing a page. So Christopher passed away. The window slid open just like he said it would. It's Christmas, Annie. Dad's too drunk to care where we are. He hoisted himself over the windowsill and out of sight. I think this is my childhood home. Alone, waiting for my brother to pull me up, something caught my eye in the snow. I found a feather as long as my forearm. I believed then I wanted to. Don't didn't want to wake you up. Wake you. Took the kids to school. I know it's a tough time. Don't forget to eat, Eric. Eric sounds like a sweetheart. So I'm guessing this is not my childhood home, but this is the home I was in at the time when I found out my brother passed. So I'm going through grief. Back in our bunks, bums raw from the lashing, I understood a few words through Christopher's sobs. Stupid owl, no such thing as angels. So he saw a feather, he thought it was an angel. He walked into the house to see the angel, but it turns out it was really an owl. And because of that, um, that he ran off, he got disciplined by his dad. Well, they both got disciplined, I think. I heard Papa calling first. Christopher bolted back to the window, but he tripped and fell. He let out a yell that shook me, and the sound echoed in the house. I'm guessing he got really injured. To whom it letter of acceptance of human remains. To whom it may concern, I request that the remains of the deceased I request that the remains of the deceased shipped to Denmark conduct an autopsy, do not conduct an autopsy. I, Annie Olson, sister of the late Christopher Jacobson, who died in Tunisia, due to a traffic accident, am willing to accept her remains upon arrival of Copenhagen Airport. Okay. Find list of contacts. Call bank memorial. Call bank memorial. Where? So, I guess kind of going back into the time traveling. Um, Whenever we time travel back, or someone with Alzheimer's time travels back, they may time travel back to a certain time. In this case, I am time traveling back to my brother's death. The reason why I'm bringing it up so many times with my family members, my children, it may be because I haven't really processed the grief fully. Um, so I am kind of reliving the grief. I'm re experiencing that loss. I am reliving all those different emotions that I may or may not have processed completely. I had mixed feelings about my brother leaving, but I cared deeply for my brother. If I followed him into that house because I wanted to be like him, there may be a sense of envy, maybe, that he was out there living his life while I stayed at home taking care of my dad. Um, from the impression that I get, my dad was a drinker, and there was physical discipline. I don't know if it was anything extreme or anything like that yet, but that may have left me with some negative feelings about my father and negative feelings that my brother didn't have to experience it, but I did. Wings fluttered. I felt a breeze on the back of my neck. The backlit figure swept through the open window, smaller than a man, but larger than any bird I'd ever seen. So it has to be an owl. So I kind of go back to my journal. So this is part of the old house that my kids keep talking about. The kids know a lot of stories about their Uncle Christopher. The window slid open, alone. So this is the things I've heard. Okay. So now I'm back home. I'm not saying Max, I'm just saying good morning. Maybe I don't recognize it as Max anymore. Photos of Eric. Eric should be my husband. Okay. Put that on. Don't forget to water Freja. Don't use. So that kind of goes back into what we were saying earlier with the keys. You can use post-it cards to not, or to remind someone, or to remind you of things. Don't use. Um, there's different ways to go about this. You can just simply write "don't use." I may still use. Buy protector uh, coverings for the knobs, or you can remove the knobs completely. So even if I try to use it, I can't. If this is electric, you can just unplug it. Um, if it's a gas, you can probably ask them to turn off the gas, I would think. Um, Conductive stoves would be really nice, but they're really expensive. Doctor on Monday. Where is my thing to water my plants? Okay, 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 okay. Let me think. So, what we are seeing is a time skip, um, game wise, narrative wise. I have these bars to help me because I am probably having trouble standing up. I have this. If it is what I think it is, that is like a call to ask for help. That way, if I'm stuck here, I can call for help. Depending on where it is connected to, since Elizabeth lives downstairs, it might be like connected to her. Actually, maybe it might just be to flush it. Same thing with the pill box. I'm missing days. This is my toothbrush. Sometimes people with Alzheimer's don't necessarily. I don't want to say they don't lose strength, but sometimes they have trouble standing up, not because they don't have the strength, but because the body may not be able to process the movements needed to stand up. So it may seem simple to stand up, but there's a lot that goes into standing up. You need to have your feet in the right place. You need to have your hands in the right place, your posture in the right place. And so, what tends to happen is that sometimes people are able to stand up, but because their technique or I guess their technique to stand up is not correct, because of proprioception or other issues or other sensory inputs. Proprioception is where you are, knowing where you are in space. So people with Alzheimer's may not realize they're pushing backwards. So they're able to stand up, but they're standing up by pushing back. Um, So there's different reasons why I may be having trouble standing up. I'm getting this right. Oh, let me take my medicine. I'm taking Friday. But you can see I'm not being consistent with my days. I know I need to take my medicine. Uh, okay. Is this the same room? Okay. So, going back into it. You can put rails along the house to help with my balance. I mentioned it earlier that I had a cane, so there's already signs that my balance is affected. Now I have a walker. I don't like that walker specifically, but I'll get into it. Uh, so there's this rail you can use in the house to help you with balance. In this case, the rail is nice. It has contrasting colors. It's along the hallway. I would I would encourage to have rails on both sides. Sometimes people put rails and it's like the same color as the wall. So it's hard to differentiate where the rail is and if there's the wall. And they may not even realize that there is a rail. So in this case, this rail is really nice. Um, there's this barrier, which I don't remember if the tile looked like this. They removed this armrest or the this table that was there. If this is my house, really my house, they removed this. One of the reasons might be because I kept bumping into it. Um, it was contrasted enough. So sometimes when you have things that contrast, it's I won't bump into it. But because they removed it, I'm guessing I kept bumping into it. Um, this is my walker. Fraser's dying. Momo's dying too. So that's a sign that I am not being consistent with watering, or I may be over watering them. Um, but I will take it as I am not watering them enough, because if I over watered them, then maybe you would have pulling, which is now a fall risk. I am surprised to see my owl is still making it through. Don't forget to water Fraser. Okay, I'll come back for that. Okay, so I guess the rail that I was seeing earlier was just a hallucination, or maybe a confusion of a different room, or I am mixing the two. Right? Maybe this is the past, and I'm not realizing that I already moved into a long-term care community. There we go. Um, okay, so I was wrong about this. It's white with white background. Um, so there's a better chance of it being me bumping into it because of the contrasting colors. The carpet, if I'm already having balance issues and using something else, this carpet is already something I should take away. If not, you can tape it onto the floor. That way it doesn't fold up. What happens is if I'm starting to drag my feet, the carpet can fold, I can trip, and then I fall. This was mailed home with Christopher's body. Christopher, I know how much your travels have meant to you, but you haven't been listening to what I've been trying to tell you in my letters. Dad's doctor are saying he might need a lot of care after his surgery. A lot. Eric and I are spread thin with the kids as it is. I'm going to stop waiting for you to offer on your own and tell you what you need to do. You need to come home early. I know you won't do it for Dad, and I'd never ask if it was about that. I need you to do this for me. You've been talking about this kind of trip since we were little. but there will be a time for this later. You said it yourself before you left. You owe me. Call me when you get home. So that's the other thing. Um, Sometimes when we have bad relationships with our parents or our guardian parental figure, and we have to take care of them, we don't want to. That's going to lead to a lot of care burden, and it can be very difficult. That being said, somebody else always has to take care. Someone else ends up taking over that responsibility. In this case, it's me. This is Christopher. This is Eric, my husband. This is probably Elizabeth. That's probably my husband. Maybe this is what's my son? Peter. Peter's hand. I'm just worried this is happening. So this is probably Elizabeth's glasses. I am just worried. Now it's July. Before it was September, so maybe it's been what, like 5, 6 months. I just worried this is happening faster than we thought. I just want us to keep options open. We need to. We keep talking about this. I just don't see what you're seeing. She doesn't want to go, Elizabeth. It should be that simple. You're not exactly the one here every day. Um, Maybe a long-term care facility is what they're talking about. That's probably why I saw the hallway and the tile. That was the buzzing that I heard. I like this one better. We don't have too many photos of you to choose from. You are always the one behind the camera. Even when taking care of dad, even when taking care of dad pushed me past my limits, you were steady. Now I think I'm pushing the kids past their limits. How would you handle all of this? So I don't think I have many pictures of Christopher. Okay, so I think I'm already in a long-term care facility. That's a hospital bed. Um, this is my room. It's a lot more humble. This is the two shapes. I can't write them down in different, separate. I have my radio. So, okay. So when it comes to people in general, we all have a lot of things that we value. If you can see in the background, I have different pictures, and all of those are actually signed autographs from concerts that I've been to. On this side is actually a huge bookshelf of a lot of different books I have read, and a few of them are pending to be read. Um, those are some of the things I value. That's just behind the wall. This desk right here, I actually made that desk, and right there is another keyboard. This is where I do a lot of like my work from home stuff, and that side, because on this computer I watch YouTube, anime, and so on. But that's a keyboard that I built. So I guess what I'm trying to say is these are all activities that I value. These are all decorations that I value. They're very important to me. I am proud of them. I still have things in the wall in front of me. I have things in the wall on the other side. I have a candle going on at the moment, so it smells nice in my room. not like the sweaty person that I am. Um, when people move into a new place, especially a long term care facility, having that personalized decor, personalization is very important. Not only that, the engagement is also very important. So here I have my desk, here I have a radio, and that is about it. Where's dad? Okay, okay, so maybe I'm not in a long term care facility. Maybe this is my dad's. This is while taking care of my dad. Okay, don't wake the kids. Okay, so now I brought my dad home. Maybe that's what happened. So this is with me and my husband. This is my house with Eric. And my dad was having trouble. So instead of living alone, I brought him here to live with me. I don't know. I think I'm trying to predict what's going to happen. Okay, so now I'm kind of wandering. Same thing. I'm looking for a specific thing, um, trying to find something, and before you know it, you kind of wander around the whole house. Um, and this is where you get people pacing back and forth. They're pacing around their home because they're trying to find that one thing, so they just pace around. And then now I'm back home again. Um, my medications are better. I keep. I think these are the apartments because I'm in an apartment kind of complex, I guess. So I may have left my house and I'm just walking around the stairway. And so these may be other people's homes. And I'm knocking on them to find, because I don't remember which one's my house. And then there's no numbers here either. Uh, we talked about the time traveling. So I am reminiscing about my home that I had with Eric when I was raising the kids. Now that I moved into this new apartment, I may not recognize the surrounding areas. That's maybe why I'm wandering and I'm unable to remember which door is mine because this is not part of my longer term memory.